she's a sight. Uncle Charlie. Don't think about it, boy, leave her alone. Why? Nigga, you ain't no G. She likes my tone, my cologne, and the way I roll. Why? You ain't no G. Mommy, mamacita, have you ever flown on G5 from London?
Channel, it's Sabrina here. So today we're going to be talking about how I went to Spain with the company called EF Ultimate Break. If you never heard of them, they are a company that basically allows people from the age of 18 to 35 to travel to places like Spain. They have like 35-day trips where you can go to Europe, France, Italy, all these places. They have Greece, where else? Costa Rica, Bali. My friends are actually going to Bali in December. I'm still debating if I want to go to Bali. But so basically this travel company specifically does all the work for you, as far as they book the plane for you, they book all the living places like the hotels and everything. They do offer some meals. They book and plan excursions for you, especially because, you know, when you go out the country, you don't know all the opportunities and stuff to go to do. You just Google it. There's certain places that you can't really Google or find on Google. It's easier like to know a person locally there to tell you some spots to go to. But basically the whole point of this video is to explain my experience and what I think are the pros and what I think are the cons. So in general, this was my first time doing something like this. Usually when I go out the country, it's usually with my family. I've never gone out the country with friends. But this time I ended up going out the country with my friend Mackenzie. So we both started travel nursing last year, October. So our contract, well, my contract was ending in May. And usually most of the time when the contract's over, you want to take like a little mini vacation or break. So we took 10 days off, well 2 weeks, but the trip was 10 days. And we booked it, like she sent me the website. I was a little bit skeptical at first. So I was like, am I really going to book this? So I had to do was put $22 down, and then I did put in for travel protection, because I didn't know, you know, how COVID and all the traveling overseas was. So all I had to do was put $22 down. I think my trip total was, I can tell you right now. The total for my trip was $3,428. Now it does sound like a lot, but this is for 10 days. Not only are you paying for, it's including flight, some meals, them planning it for you and everything. So it's a lot. So for $3,400 for me not to do any other work, I would gladly pay. And they offer payment plans. You can either pay, I believe it's every week, every 2 weeks, or monthly as your payment plan. So the earlier you book your trip, the more time you have to pay. And you can put like a down payment, which will lessen your total cost. So our trip, we went to Barcelona. I believe we were there for 2 or 3 days. Went to Barcelona, Ibiza. I think Ibiza was my most favorite because we actually went to a concert. It was a Robin Schulz concert, and it was like one of the biggest clubs in Ibiza, so that was super fun. And then the last place that we went was Valencia. So that was like the calm after the storm, because we were drinking like crazy in Ibiza. But so we met a lot of people. I actually met people from California, Texas, places that you would have never met people. So I think our group in total was about 30 something of us, all from different places in the United States. So it was pretty interesting. You honestly will, if you're there, you're going to make friends. It doesn't matter, like, you're gonna click with these people, you're gonna hang out with them. Of course, I went with a friend. Some people went with their friends, some people went solo. So luckily me and Mackenzie were together, so that made it a little easier. So before we get to the cons, we're going to talk about the pros. So the first pro is that you get to meet people. If you're someone who doesn't you know, not friendly or like a people's person, and you're just not outgoing, this is like the perfect trip for you. You get to meet people. You're not all by yourself on a trip, because it's not all fun when you're by yourself, especially with some excursions like jet skiing and stuff. You're not going to want to be by yourself. The second pro is stress-free planning, because when we were going from Barcelona, Ibiza, and Valencia, we had to take buses for like 3-hour drives, get on a ferry, get on different flights. that's a lot for someone to have to plan by themselves. So having someone do all that work is so much easier, and you don't have to think that if your flight gets canceled, they will help you figure it out, because some of the flights were getting canceled and delayed because flying from like the East Coast to Europe, it was like a thunderstorm. It was raining really bad. The weather was horrible. Luckily our flight didn't get canceled, but it got delayed like four or 5 hours, so luckily we didn't have to go through that. The third pro, payment plan. So not all of us have the money to just pay $3,400, $4,000 out of pocket for a trip. So the payment plan allows you to, you know, be able to afford the trip and be able to pay it over time, because, you know, all guys like that, especially in a recession. So it's perfect for that. The fourth pro is that all the excursions are booked for you practically. All you do is just pay it. So when you go on the website, under each trip, when you're booking it, it has options of excursions that are add-ons, and you can do that. So for example, my trip, an add-on that I paid for was the paddleboarding class, which I didn't do because I did not read the fine print that said you need to know how to swim. The girl don't know how to swim, so I did not do that, but I ended up paying for it, whatever. We did that. We what is it called? It was this church thing. I cannot remember the name of it. What is it called? Sagrada Familia. So it's like this really big Catholic looking church place, and you go inside, you look at it. They've basically been building it for years. We did a catamaran boat ride. That was really nice. We got to watch the sunset, and it was beautiful. That was a couple hours. We had food, we had drinks. It was amazing. We were dancing, playing music, all the whole shebang. And included some sangrias. Their sangrias were trash. It was kind of like you know when you buy like something in the like the packaging already, just pour it. That's basically how it was. We decided to do jet skiing on our own. So we were like, you know, we want to do something different, because it had like some it was like some type of, I can't remember what the excursion was. It was some excursion, but we didn't want to do it. So instead that day we went jet skiing. We paid like, I believe it was like $75 each, and we went jet skiing. That was amazing. That was so much fun, even though I kind of had anxiety because I don't know how to swim, so I was holding on to my friend super tight. The last pro is that you have a tour guide. So on each trip there is one tour guide. Ours name was Daniel, so he was amazing. So Daniel basically speaks their language. It's not the same Spanish that they speak here in America. It's like a different form of Spanish, but he spoke the language. He knew the different areas. So if you wanted to do something outside of like what was planned, you just asked him. He knew where to go, what train to take, everything. So that was really amazing for him. And then you do tip him at the end. He was a really, really, really great tour guide. Like, he has a lot of patience to deal with all of us. Like, it was 30 something of us, and for you to have to deal with that many people for 10 days, yeah, that was a lot. Okay, so let's get into the pros. Let's get into the cons. So with everything, there are pros and there's cons. So we're gonna get into these cons. The first con that really pissed me and my friend off is that, yes, they book your flight for you, but I kid you not, they will seat you in the back of the plane. Like let's say the last row on the plane is like 40, yeah, you're gonna be 39. On one of our flights, we were literally like right there, right next to the bathroom. And I didn't like that because it's like you're flying long, like your long way, and you don't want to be in the back of the plane for like 12 hours. Like, that was a little annoying. Each of our flights were like that. We were all the way in the back, literally all the way in the back. If I could have paid for an upgrade, I probably would have paid for an upgrade. So that's the one thing. And also, like, they will pick the flights with the longest layovers. Like, one girl, her layover was like 7-8 hours. And so that means, like, instead of your flight time being 12 hours straight, your flight time might be 20 something hours because of that long layover. I didn't like that either. The second con is that the places that you're staying, they're not always going to be hotels. So I never heard of a hostel before, so that was my first time learning of that. So a hostel is kind of similar to like a hotel, but it's kind of like dorm style. So it'll be like dorm where you have like 2 twin beds, or some of the hostels have like bunk beds, so it might be 6 people sleeping in that one little tiny room. and I was just like, I didn't know this is like where we were gonna be staying. So our first place, the hostel, was nice because it was 2 beds, and me and my friend Mackenzie, we shared the room. We didn't care, like, we're friends. We walk around naked in front of each other. We don't care. The second one, we were in a room with 6 other girls, but these girls were not 6, well, 4 other girls, and these girls were on our trip, so it wasn't as bad. But let's say you're traveling by yourself and you go on a hostel, these might be random people, so it's like you gotta lock your stuff up. The third place in Valencia, that one was more of a hotel place. It looked more like a hotel. It was really nice. It was it was 1 queen bed and then 1 full bed. So me and Mackenzie slept on 1 bed, and then the friend that we made on the trip, she slept on the full bed by herself. So that was a little different. And then, like, there, you have a key card. So they always give you 2 key cards. So to make sure you have the lights and the AC working, you have to have a key card in the slot near the door. So that was different for us too. So the housing kind of took me out, but you can pay for an upgrade. I didn't know about the upgrades because one of the friends we met, his name was Michael. I always called him bougie because he always had a room for himself, and I was like, let's go to your penthouse, Michael, because you're the only one with your own room. Like, everybody started catching on to that, so we just started calling his room penthouse. But it was hilarious. The next con is that you do end up spending a lot more. Like, I think I spent over $1,000 on the trip, like, alone, for as far as like food and other excursions, because they do give you some breakfast, but the breakfast is like the hotel or hostel breakfast, which might sometimes be like a muffin or like a sandwich or something. That's not really enough. So a lot of the times we went out, found restaurants, we googled restaurants, and we ate breakfast out. Don't get me wrong, the food is so much cheaper than America's food, but it does add up when you're buying breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the dinner that they do provide for you, they usually include like a sangria, or they'll include a wine. But if you want to do add-ons, that's going to cost a little more. So yeah, it ends up costing more. But I did have fun, even though I spent a lot. It's honestly the experience that you'll always remember. So as far as me, I would rather spend my money on vacation than be paying an $800 car payment any day, honestly. So all in all, I would say to book this. I will definitely be booking another trip with them. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I'm still debating on that Bali trip. The only thing that's stopping me is I don't know if my job will give me 10 days off because I'm starting a new contract, so we'll have to share some tips if you are planning a trip with EF Ultimate Break. So the first tip I would give is to save at least $1,000 to $1,500 if you want to spend money on transportation, food, shopping, and everything. My second tip would be, as far as luggage, you are allowed to have 1 check bag, and then you can have like a carry-on bag. So I just had a check bag, and I had a duffel bag that carried most of my important stuff, like my camera, my phone, my chargers, anything that you don't want to get lost or broken in your check bag. I would say to have it in like a duffel bag or carry-on bag. My third tip would be, as far as transportation, taxi is available, but taxi can get a bit more on the expensive side. And not just that, like if you're out late, like one of the nights we were in Ibiza, we were out pretty late. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we literally could not get a taxi. It took us about an hour and a half to get a taxi. So sometimes the train is an alternative, because they do give you, well, I'm not sure if every tour guide does this, but our tour guide gave us like a complimentary Metro Pass, which I actually still have, I believe. So he gave us a Metro Pass, and I think it had like about $10 or $15 worth, so I actually still have it. I kept it as like a little souvenir, but kind of like when you go to New York, you just refill the card. If you lose the card, you get a new one. But the metro train is so much cheaper. It's not gonna go everywhere, and if you don't know how to get somewhere, you just Google it, and the maps will literally tell you which train to get on, where to get off, and all of that. So it's just as simple. Another tip I would say is, if you are uncomfortable with rooming with people that you don't know, I would say to pay for the upgraded, to have your own room, because like I said, one of the hostels, it was 6 girls in 1 room and 1 bathroom, and all our stuff was literally everywhere. Like, I was tripping over a suitcase, so that was like new for me. I felt like I was like in a college dorm room or something. I don't know, but it was fun, so I wouldn't say that. But I did enjoy my trip all in all. It was super fun. It went by super fast. I definitely would do it again. If I could change some things, I definitely would change some things. But now I know for my next trip, I'll be a little bit more prepared for it. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I will have a referral code linked below. I currently don't have the code yet, so I had to figure out where to get it on the website, but I did email them. So I will, by the time this video is posted, it will be below. If you did like this video, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Sabrina's the name. And I'll see you guys in my next video.
Uncle Charlie.